Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm your host, Alex Harriman, here with my co-host, Jerrika Alex. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hey, Jer, it's been a minute.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, I know it's been a really long time. I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't even know if I have headphones. Where are my headphones? Like, where's everything? I had to charge my iPad.
Do you still remember how to do this?
I don't know. I just have to talk, shoot the shit. I'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Those of you who don't know, Jerrika's been with us the whole time, but she's been operating in the background because she's got a new addition to her family. Jerrika's
feels like forever, but it's only been 4 months.
Yeah. So 4 months into brand new motherhood. What's your biggest takeaway so far?
Honestly, I think it's been pretty cool because we coach moms mainly, right? So to be able to now be a mom and relate on a different way, like, I would coach and say, okay, here's a 30-minute workout because obviously these hour workouts aren't working for you. But now I can be like, no, really, they probably needed 20 minutes. Like, I'm really understanding all aspects of life and relating to all of our moms that we're coaching. It's totally different than I ever expected, but it's a lot better than I could have imagined.
Yeah, I love that so much. I love when people are having their first kid and you're trying to prepare them, but it's like, honestly, it doesn't really matter what I say because I can't prepare you. Like, anything I say will not even come close to what it actually is anyways. So it's just like, go get it.
Yeah, and you just kind of go with the flow.
All right, so today I want to talk about taking exercise outdoors, how that affects our overall goals, our overall plan, and how people should kind of incorporate this, because we know this time of year, a lot of people are starting to get outside more. They're starting to walk more, hike more, just do outdoor activities more, which for some people can mean less time in the gym, less time training, that kind of thing. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Like, how your initial thoughts on hearing this topic, I guess?
I mean, now more than ever, with the little one especially, I've been doing this. It's kind of cool. It's a good timing to chat about this in my first podcast. So I think in a second I'd like to go over some examples, because I think there'll be some that people just forget about. But it excites me because mentally it's one of the best things you can do, even if you're in like a rut in the gym. Like, it might not even be that you want to be outside as much right now, but you might just be in the gym and be like, oh, I'm having a rut. Like, just change your scenery, right? Like, some advice I got as a mom the other day when Beckett's like crying and unhappy, they're like, just change the weather, change the scenery, change what he sees. So, and I've been applying that to my own life. It's like, if I'm in a bit of a rut, just get outside or whatever. So mentally, if that's probably the best benefit, not only physically, because you'll be surprised what changing your routine up can do for your body.
Yeah, it's so true. I find the same thing when I am having like just a shitty day. Getting outside is like the best thing I can do to turn that around for me. So obviously we know the benefits of getting outside. We know that we can exercise outside, but I think what a lot of people run into is some of this all or nothing mentality, where it's like, well, I've been in a really good routine in terms of my exercise, and I can't fit both into my schedule right now. How is this going to affect somebody, do you think, spending more time outdoors and less time in the gym when we look at overall goals?
If someone's going from, let's say, 5 days in the gym, and now all of a sudden, maybe we're saying, okay, try 4 days in the gym and at least do one big, like, do something fun outside, go for a hike on day 5 instead of in the gym. They're not going to see any difference in terms of their overall strength, in terms of their overall performance. That one less day that they aren't in the gym, it may even, in fact, they might see some benefits in terms of their agility or their cardiovascular aspect. So depending on what they're choosing for that outside activity. Now, if they're going from all 5 workouts to from in the gym lifting strength wise, and they're going to doing them all outside, they may see some changes in terms of their strength, but it just depends where their goals are at right then and there. I would always say get outside. If I'm going to choose between going to the gym for an hour or taking the family out for, I don't know, we're all going to meet at the pickleball courts or something, like I would choose the lack of strength in quotations over getting to the gym, but that's just my personal enjoyment.
I agree, and there's a couple key points here. So first of all, the people listening to this, most of you, your goal is to like live a longer, healthier, better life, to get a little bit fitter, to lose a little bit of weight, to find balance. Like I think that's an important factor. If your goal isn't very, very exercise dependent, like weight loss isn't, exercise complements our weight loss, it doesn't drive our weight loss, then getting exercise in any form is going to be beneficial. Now, one thing that Jerrika mentioned, if I just reframe it a little bit, like it's you knocking one day off your strength training isn't drastically going to affect your strength training, but you knocking all the days off your strength training is going to drastically affect your strength training. So like any athlete or anybody, we can't keep pushing forward in every single goal all the time. So it's okay to say right now, my focus is going to be get outdoors, family time, get maybe some more cardiovascular training, that kind of things outdoors. Strength training can move down a notch on your priority, but we shouldn't remove it completely. You've put in a bunch of work. So it's like you built it up. If you completely neglect it now, then it wasn't worth it, right? It wasn't worth it to give it up. But if you can put it on the back burner and minimize the damage and do a little bit of it and maintain it through this season while you work on something else outdoors, then you can come back to that next September, October without feeling like you're working from a setback. So that's something that's really important here. This isn't an all or nothing thing.
And maintenance and strength training is actually not very hard to do. And I think that's important to note. Like, if you're okay with just maintaining the strength level that you're at, instead of doing your usual 30-minute strength, it may only require that 10 minutes of strength or 30 minutes of significantly less weight, or like it doesn't require as much of an intense hard work as building strength does when we're trying to maintain. So that could be a positive thing to keep in the back of your mind when you are thinking of maybe taking a few more days outside or doing 15 minutes strength and then 15 minutes out with the family or whatever you're doing outside.
Really good point. When I go into like a maintenance phase with my exercise, if I stop exercising, like any of you, I think any of you listening to this can resonate with this. If you take like weeks off for an injury or an illness or whatever, it's hard to come back. You feel like you're starting from a major setback, but usually you get it back pretty quick. But if you just did like a couple workouts per week, hit your main lifts, if I squat once a week and like do a press once a week, I can maintain my strength easily with like little 20-minute workouts here and there. I can maintain my strength without feeling like I've lost anything. So this is relevant to a strength athlete. Now, if you're the type of person that's doing like a lot of circuits and cardiovascular training, that's going to be even easier to maintain outside. If you can get outside and do any sorts of running, hill climbing, hiking, biking, swimming, it's really easy to integrate bouts of high intensity into those exercises. Obviously, you don't have the same resistance training aspect. We're not using as much weights and things like that. But what we're really trying to gain out of this is that cardiovascular burn and the ability to work to a high level, recover, work to a high level, recover. You can achieve that without being in the gym. So I guess more than anything, like we're not giving you the excuse to stop working out, but we are giving you the excuse to get outside. Use an opportunity to get outside whenever you can. It's going to be great for your mental health. It's going to be great for your overall health. and then be okay with a maintenance in another part of your health and fitness journey. When we look at all of the branches of health and fitness, nutrition, strength training, mobility, cardiovascular, total power, like when we look at all these things, it's impossible to be pushing forward in all of them at the same time. What you don't want to do is regress in a bunch of them and push forward in one. So pick the ones that you're okay maintaining on, and pick the ones that you're okay building on, and lean into that.
I want to touch on a note about the cardio aspect that you talked about, and how much it might be easier to actually achieve a better cardiovascular output if you're training outside, just because you're simply enjoying it more. There was a study I had read I can't quote the actual study off the top of my head, but it was just about how when your adherence is low, like it's obvious, just go outside. And then they asked everyone, why did your adherence go significantly up? And they're like, well, just because I enjoy the activity. Like, it's as simple and obvious as that. So if you're struggling right now, maybe you're not even getting your strength workouts in. So you're saying the hell with it, you're not doing anything. It's like, well, let's just, maybe strength is your goal, but maybe we just need to kickstart exercise in some way, shape, and form. So get outside and just start moving, right? So just because we're enjoying whatever activity we chose, if you're someone who is loving yoga, and even though strength is primarily your goal, like, go try an outdoor yoga session just to, start something fresh, just to get outside. And who knows, that could just carry on to, okay, I'm enjoying moving my body. Now I'm going to incorporate some strength training into this. Just something to get you moving is a good place to start. And outside seems to be that for majority of people.
And also, you can get the best of both worlds. Like, an ideal strength training session to me is around an hour. If I don't have an hour, I can get a really good strength training session in like 20-25 minutes. And then I've freed up the other 35 to get outside to do other things that I need to. So it's so simple to fall into that all or nothing, but we don't need to fall into that all or nothing. Think about the amount of time it takes you to drive to the gym, get changed, get your workout in, get changed back into your street clothes, and drive home. That's usually the overwhelm that leads us to not do something. So now, okay, I want to spend more time outdoors. I need to free up time in my schedule. I don't want to sacrifice my training. How can I do some of this at home? Could I buy a kettlebell? Could I buy a couple dumbbells? Could I get some bands so I can do some strength and resistance training at home in a 20-25 minute session without all the commute, the getting changed, the showering at the gym? You're freeing up a ton of time, still prioritizing strength training, and then allowing yourself to get outside and do whatever it is that you had hoped in the first place. So it's like our budget. We often say, I don't have enough money to do this, and we're unwilling to look at the budget and look for opportunities of where we can cut back, like Starbucks. The same thing applies to our health and fitness budget, our time budget. If you're looking for, hey buddy, if you're looking for places and time to cut back, we can look at other areas just to free up time for health and fitness. We don't have to take that from time for health and fitness. It can often be taken from places like commuting, places like watching TV, places like oversleeping, places like hitting that snooze alarm in the morning. And I'm not saying we have to fix all these things, but we can achieve a lot in 20 minutes per day. So how can I take 5 minutes from here, 5 minutes from here, 5 minutes from here, and 5 minutes from here, compile them together so that I can do a 20-minute strength training session at home, so that I don't start regressing on all this work that I created, which is now going to free up that time I was going to be at the gym to get outside.
Absolutely. And it could be a matter of, if you're someone who loves their walks, and that's that hour to you is like gold. You want to go for an hour walk every day. So you don't want to check off, you don't want to take a half an hour off your walk to do strength training because you just simply love your walk. Well, then walk, find a bench, do some step ups, or do a couple squats, or do some push-ups on the bench, right? Those are weight-bearing exercises. They're still good for your muscles and your bones. You can incorporate these into your routines. It doesn't have to be like a block set for this in your basement, a block set, like put them together just to, like we talked about, just to get started. Everyone listening, majority of you listening, I could bet that we don't need these hour-long gym routines right now. We just need something to kind of kickstart us. So it could be as simple as that.
Something over nothing, right? Circling back to the
Yeah.
beginning of this podcast, like your goal, if you're listening to this, probably isn't to be a competitive power lifter or a competitive bodybuilder. So if your lift goes down a couple pounds, but in turn you're strengthening your mental health, you're strengthening your cardiovascular health, you're getting outdoors, you're getting more family time for a short period of time, like the short Canadian summers that we do have.
Exactly.
It's a trade worth making in most situations.
Yeah, and then the cold weather comes around and you're looking forward to getting back to your gym that has a sauna, maybe that has those change rooms and everything. So, just go with the seasons and allow yourself to enjoy it.
Cool. So one last thing I want to touch on is if you're doing like a lot of camping and things like that this summer and you're like, how can I take my fitness outdoors? Think of unconventional manners of taking your fitness outdoors. We don't have to the idea of like bringing weights around with you, like I get it, it's probably not going to happen. Bands to me are so easy to travel with. They also make like very easy like ninja sets and stuff now that you can get. So things like a set of rings that you can hang from a tree or a TRX that you can hang from a tree. These are very real possibilities if you're the type of person that goes camping for extended periods of time, or if you're the type of person that's going to be away from home for extended periods of time. Like you can get a full body workout with one rubber band, right? We don't need to overcomplicate this. There's a good, better, best, and there's all or nothing. We don't have to be one or the other. We can live in this middle ground temporarily and keep moving forward towards our goals.
Love it. And I love that you mentioned, I think it's important to say again that if you're camping for an extended period of time, then bringing these things, if you're going for a day or two, like go enjoy yourself, go for a walk. But like we mentioned at the beginning, if we don't want to completely lose our strength and we are gone for periods of time throughout the summer, these things are important to us and they're important to have. Bands are always my go-to just because feeling that burn too in the summer heat and you're sweating and it's like burning on bands. It's just awesome. I never thought of a TRX, but rings are a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have like a little like ninja set that you hang between two trees, and it's got like rings, ladders, things like that. And like it's fun for me and for my son. And then
awesome.
Honestly, like I know how camping works. Like in a full day of camping, fitting in a 20-minute workout in the morning is not hard. Pick up a rock and start doing your goblet squats. Like it doesn't,
or just work out in the sand. Like that's hard.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. I know how much the beauty of things like camping is you don't have a house to clean, you don't have your regular chores, you're not working. You can free up 20 minutes to squeeze in a workout.
Love it. It's a good reminder.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to add on this topic, Jer?
No, just like I love this topic. Just go try something new this summer. Yeah, when you're getting outside. There's a lot of different things you can do. This year, my goal is, I think I mentioned this on the podcast like 2 years ago, but I'm making a new goal again at being a better swimmer. I think I said that like 2 years ago. I'm like, I'm going to be a better swimmer this summer, but we're going to be a better swimmer this summer.
I like it.
That's my outdoor activity.
You can get one of those like little buoy lifeboats and pull him behind you.
Weighted swimming. Okay. Resistance.
That's a good reminder too. So this is just a last little mention is we've had members recently asking us about like strength training versus cardiovascular training, how much of each, the balance, that type of thing. A lot of the stuff we do outdoors is kind of a combination, which I would classify as like muscular endurance. So if we think about like paddling is like an activity that uses a lot of muscle activation, but it's not really strength training and it's not as much cardiovascular training, but it is a great combination of the two. So we can get benefits of both the cardiovascular and the strength out of it, but it's also not as good as one or the other is at developing that system, and that's okay. So like that's a really wicked opportunity to maintain balance in your cardio and strength. If I'm like, oh shit, I don't have time to do both this week, getting in a paddling session is a good way to maintain balance in both.
Yep.
Are you going to continue getting more top end strength through paddling? Probably not, but it's a really good way to fit in a super effective workout that's going to help you with muscular endurance and long-term output also. So that's just a little thing that I've been thinking about recently.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay, so what I'm thinking would be a cool tip for you to leave them with is like you're in like the busiest stage of motherhood right now. In like 5 minutes or less or 2 minutes or less, like what's your advice for squeezing in fitness into your day?
Like, are you saying like give them an example of a workout I would do?
Doesn't need to be like, how are you making it happen? Like obviously getting to the gym,
It's
getting
not
to
happening.
the gym, getting to the gym for
Um,
like 2 hours is no longer a thing,
that's right.
right?
One of the things that I had mentioned earlier are what I'm doing. So obviously with little ones, you'd go for a lot of walks. I probably walk like 3 to 4 times a day, and they might only be 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Like my morning ones around the block, 5 minutes. So I walk a ton, but in those walks, I strap him to me, and I squat with him. Like I'll get to the stop sign. I have a dog. I don't care. I'll just do a couple squats, walk back.
Love
Or
it.
I'll go around, yeah, do some step ups at the ballpark with the benches with them strapped to me. Um, it's just about, and I'm like just playing. Like Alex, you did a podcast once about just like playing with your son and the benefits of that. Well, when you're playing with them, like have Beckett, who's almost 20 pounds, and I'm pressing him above my chest however many times on the floor. To him, he's laughing. He thinks it's awesome. To me, I'm like, I just got like 20 reps of a 20-pound bench press in or chest press in, and I feel the burn because that's where I'm at in the stage of strength. So I'm just incorporating it as much as I can in everything that I do, in my involvement with him. And of course, having a dog keeps us active. And I just returned back to baseball, so I've been playing lots of baseball, which is keeping me active as well. So just again, doing things you love in this point of my motherhood is my tip.
For everybody listening to that, like we tell our clients all the time, like 20 minutes of purposeful movement is kind of our gold standard on a daily basis. And a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, that's not enough though. Like it is.
It's yeah.
It's enough to make progress, guys. Like Jerrika just talked about squeezing in a couple 10-minute walks per day. I promise you can make progress towards your goal. Find the time to squeeze in 20 minutes per day and watch the changes happen. Obviously, exercise alone is not enough to change ourselves. We have to focus on nutrition, but 20 minutes of exercise per day is enough to complement your journey and make serious progress. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. It's great to have you back, Jer. For anybody listening to this, that's like, how am I going to apply this? What could this look like? Reach out to us, have this conversation. This is what we do with our clients every single day. We're helping people just like you learn how to balance a busy schedule and make progress in their health and fitness journey. So shoot me a message. We can have that chat. We can see how Breaking 90 can fit and work for you. And yeah, more than anything, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned for the next episode.